In terms of other unique things that you can do with STK, one of the ones that I've been exploring a lot is how you can utilize this software add-on known as EOIR to do some realistic sensor modeling. I've kind of already showed you how this could look for a space-to-space sensor in the Kalman filter video, but here's a space-to-ground sensor here representing Worldview, one of Maxar's collectors that essentially takes all these pretty photos of the Earth. And one of the things that you can do in sort of this notional scenario that you're going to see is run a sensor like this Worldview satellite over some different target islands and then see what its sensor could have seen. So kind of the first visual of this, we'll just play through and kind of watch how we can watch the sensor scan across the ground. And I've tried to use basically the realistic scan rate of a Worldview satellite that I could find on Maxar's website. So this is about how fast one of these satellites could slew. And so I think that's kind of cool. You get to see, where its collection events are occurring. So that's one kind of cool visual application. But let's take it one step further and take a look at what the sensor fully modeled in the lighting of the time of day would have seen. So we're just going to go ahead and turn on the EOIR sensor, and we'll just throw this off to the side. And we'll add in sort of this attitude modeling for where the vehicle was pointing. And you can see right now the vehicle is coming up over the ocean, and it's got automatic gain control turned on. So you're just seeing all these different heat maps for what this camera could have potentially been seeing if it was just staring directly down at the ocean. The show's going to start kind of at 7:30 when it comes over this target area, and you'll start to see the beam slew over, getting prepared to collect for these target islands. So right about here, you can see the beam is starting to slew very rapidly, and you can see the orientation of the vehicle is changing as well. Looking down towards the Earth, getting ready to do its collects. All right, and now we'll slow it down, and we'll see as the islands come into the field of view what it looks like. So there you can see it got basically the Lompoc area, and you're just going to watch it scan over these ocean targets here. So there's some of the islands that are highlighted in green, basically that the beam is going out and pointing to. And here you can see this is all being modeled off of real vehicle slewing, where it's preparing and turning towards the target area. Pretty cool. And there's a lot of different ways that we can visualize this. So here you're basically seeing the time of the last collect. So essentially if it's green, it means it's being collected currently. And then as it gets closer and closer to being 20 seconds old photo, it turns redder and redder. So essentially this one was collected some 10 seconds ago, and then as it begins to eventually turn red, it's no longer considered a current photo. Just a lot of different ways to represent the interaction of space and ground sensors. And there's a lot of different ways you can visualize this. So you can look from Worldview's perspective, what was it seeing? Watch as it beam, the beam goes over these islands. Here we're watching in reverse. So now it's collecting over about San Diego area, hitting some of those offshore islands. And you might notice that there's this F-15 flying around. So let's say that we wanted to get super graphically intensive. So here's the model of the F-35 that is currently being collected on by the high-resolution beam of this Worldview. This is going to be slightly notional. I've made the 35's model essentially 400 times bigger than a real F-35 would be, just so we can see how the optics could pull out a vehicle of this size. And so there you have it. At this time, this is what a hypothetical super high-res camera would have seen if it was pointed at that flying around F-35. And we can have some fun and turn the F-35 into a 747 model, see what that would have looked like. There's if it were a 747. Or we can even do something like turn that F-35's sample model into a DSP. Sure enough, there you go. There's DSP's solar panels. You can make out a little bit of the body, and there's the front end of the camera. And this will change with orientation and lighting according to where this F-35 is flying. And when I say this is all being modeled off of real parameters, these sensors that you're seeing here are actually showing the wavelength spectrally of what's actually listed for Worldview 2's sensor. So you're getting real spectral bands, real field of view. You can change the pixels to whatever your particular computer can handle and then watch it all happen in real time.